But our lead this hour is from the Alamo. That didn't turn out too well either in the Alamo. So if you haven't heard this basketball story, I assume you know by now, but maybe not. The man that has been anointed the face of the NBA, even though he's not quite the face of the NBA yet, team blows, and they're going to suck some more. The San Antonio Spurs have lost star player Victor Wembanyama for the rest of the season. Turn out the lights, the party's over. He's done. Now, this is not your standard NBA injury. No. This is like next level what happened here. As we are told that Wembanyama, who we last saw cheating in the All-Star weekend, is out because of deep vein thrombosis in his right shoulder. What does that mean in layman's terms? Well, it means the Parisian prodigy has a blood clot, which was discovered after Wembanyama attempted to cheat in the skills competition. Didn't get away with it at the NBA All-Star game. Now, the condition is supposedly, the way you treat it is with blood thinners. And as I've learned over the years from athletes that have had similar situations, if you are on blood thinners, you're not allowed to participate in contact sports because if you start bleeding, you are screwed. So when you're on the blood thinners, now the Spurs are very optimistic. They think this is nothing. Right? They're like, oh, Wembanyama will recover. He'll be ready to go for next season. They're not worried about any kind of long-term health ramifications. The acting coach of the Spurs, a guy named Mitch Johnson, whoever that is, said that the medical staff there in San Antonio said that the Parisian prodigy long-term outlook is not impacted at all by what they just called a setback. Okay, so let us discuss. Are we getting the whole story on Wemby's situation with the Spurs? Are we getting the full story here with what's going on with Wemby? So I've got Music Factory, Creepypasta, and Wool Socks. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to kick some tail is what we're going to do. So number one. I said number one. All right, we're getting a version of the truth from the San Antonio Spurs. I do not believe we're getting the whole truth. Definitely nothing but the truth. It feels a little bit like the classic scene from an old movie in Hollywood called The Naked Gun. Move on, nothing to see here, please disperse. Are you sure that everything's sunshine, rainbows, and lollipops? The man that is the franchise has blood clots. Like, I get that being optimistic is nice, and you're supposed to be optimistic. However, we know that every situation is different, and Wemby has already been propped up. He's been put on a pedestal on a dog food Spurs team as the future of the NBA, the heir to the throne and all that. Everyone's going to genuflect to Wemby for years to come. But he's got blood clots. This is a condition that is most common among those over the age of 60. And if you look at the factors, and I did a minutes-long Maller investigation here, it's a condition that generally happens when you get older. And among the factors that increase your risk are, let's check these here, obesity, pregnancy, having a surgery, blood clotting disorders, and a lot of sitting around, not being active at all. So this is where you cue the CNC Music Factory there. Things that make you go, Things that make you go, So last I checked, Wemby isn't fat. We don't think he's pregnant, although maybe he needs a test. And I don't believe there's any kind of recent surgery. So what are you going to do? All right, now, page 2. So the Spurs think everything's wonderful, rainbows, lollipops, all that. But what does this mean for Victor Wembanyama in the future? This is our perspective. So I would say, unlike the optimism, this is TBD. TBD. It's a case-by-case basis. Brandon Ingram is, I believe, in Toronto now, but he had this happen. I think he was with the Lakers when it happened, and he was able to come back. Chris Bosh, his career was absolutely derailed because of the blood clots and the blood thinners and underlying conditions that they didn't know about, and then they knew about it and all that. So, again, based on a couple of clicks here and there, everyone I know is different, right? You're different than me. Even though we're all kind of the same crap, same space dust, everyone's wired different. And so deep vein thrombosis can be deadly, can actually be deadly. Like a blood clot goes to your lungs or your heart, and it's lights out. We lost one of my colleagues at Fox Sports Radio who had blood clots, and it led to a heart attack, and he unfortunately crossed over the pearly gates. And so it can be a deadly thing. It's a very serious thing. And we don't know everything. I don't think the Spurs know everything. How could they possibly know everything? I'm just trying to be optimistic and speak that into the reality here. But you don't know if there's some other underlying situation that could affect him long term. And you cannot predict what's going to happen with a case like this based on the fact that everyone's different. And it's not like a broken leg. Everyone, you break your leg, you kind of know what to do. They get that pretty down pat. You break your hand, they know how to handle it. But Wembanyama, you look at him from afar, and it's like creepy pasta. The internet meme there, Slenderman. And Wemby is needle thin. He's unnaturally tall, and I think he's a humanoid. He might be a lizard person. Now, meanwhile, there's a lot of money that is going to change hands because of this, because had Wemby continued to play, he would have been the Defensive Player of the Year. He is not going to qualify. He's not going to get the 65 games required for that to happen, so he's not going to be the Defensive Player of the Year. And that means that money will be shifting around the NBA, either to Memphis or to Cleveland most likely. Now, what does that mean? So Jaren Jackson Jr. of the Grizz, and he's in the running right now to get that trophy, Defensive Player of the Year. He would become eligible to sign a $345 million Supermax contract based on winning that award this year. And then Evan Mobley, who is on, I believe he's on the rookie extension with Cleveland. He signed last offseason. That would go from $224 million to $269 million. So if you do the math on that, that's a lot, right? That's over, $45 million more because Wemby got blood clots. So somebody's either going to get $45 million extra or $345 million. Money, money, money. Money, money, money. All right, final point. Drama-O-Rama, Dateline, North Carolina, but actually the NBA road. Hornets center Mark Williams, the man that was never a Laker but almost was, Mark Williams, does not believe that the trade that was vetoed to the Lakers should have been voided based on his physical condition. He said, quote, "I don't think it was solely because of my physical." Now, Williams also posted a collage of photos on the social with the caption, "There's always peace when you know the truth." You also had the agent, slightly biased, the agent for the Hornets center, who issued a statement disputing the Lakers' decision to fail the physical, leading to the trade that was rescinded a couple weeks back. All right, so question. Did the Lakers have ulterior motives in voiding the Mark Williams trade with the Lakers? So I'm nodding my head yes. I don't know how you can answer it any other way. And obviously Williams is biased. The agent is biased. Everyone's got their own skin in the game in this. I don't. But the implication by Williams is there's other stuff going on. And I'm going yes, and really what's needed here is wool socks because the Lakers got cold feet. When you get cold feet, you need wool socks to warm you up. They were worried about Williams going snap, crackle, pop. That is part of it. But they were also worried that they were giving way too much up for a guy who's damaged goods. And that, well, they would have liked to have had him. They're like, we can't really give all this stuff up because we got to get other stuff. And then, so they cooked up some kind of paperwork snafu. And as I have learned over my years on this planet doing marginal overnight sports talk radio, in the big business of professional sports, the industrial complex of professional sports in North America, if you want a player that has some issues, shall we say, with their body, you got to go shopping. It's called doctor shopping. You get the guy that finished last in medical school, and if you have to, you go to another country, and you find some doctor that got his medical degree on a website, and you have that doctor sign the Hippocratic Oath that your player is ready to go. And all of a sudden they pass the physical. Now, vis-a-vis, if you don't want a player, it's very easy to find a red flag and veto a trade and say, well, we don't know about that, and proceed that direction. So, again, it comes down to what your agenda is. What is your agenda? And this is the Lakers. They made the trade. At the time they made the trade, they're like, oh, man, even though this guy gets hurt all the time, this Mark Williams guy, he's perfect. I mean, you told me. We had a guy call up who's, I think he was a Hornets fan. He's, oh, this guy's going to dominate. Oh, Mark Williams is so good. By the time we got done with that phone call, I thought that the Lakers had acquired Jokic from the Nuggets, that Williams was that good. And then they veto the trade. So something else going on there. Did LeBron make a phone call? Did LeBron say, wait a minute, you can't do this? Well, sorry, LeBron. It's Luka's team now. We can do whatever we want. All right, we'll keep an eye on that. That story is not done. That story is not done by a long shot. There will be more on that story. I will guarantee that the dirt's going to come out. I can also guarantee you that the stories will come out about Luka being depressed and overeating when he got to the Lakers. I envision that. I was flipping around after the hockey game, and I turned on. The Lakers were playing Portland, and Luka. Now they're wearing the road uniforms. Luka didn't play in the game because when you're in your mid-20s, you can't be expected to play back-to-back games. So Luka sat out of an abundance of caution, and he even looked fat in his street clothes. But he looks fatter when he wears that yellow home Laker uniform. Yeah. I mean, it's not good. It's not good.